Hi everyone, it's Lillian here from Stamper's Niche, and I'm popping on at an unusual time for me. So I was just in the middle of doing something and I thought, why not share it with you? So do you remember this piece from Monday Night Stamping? It was a leftover piece when I was showing you how the Adorning Hearts hybrid folder was working. So this piece was still sitting on my desk yesterday, and our granddaughter was visiting, and she was saying, Nana, can we do a craft? Nana, do you want to play tic-tac-toe? And I said, hey, just a minute, I think I have an idea. So we went into my craft room and we began playing with this, and then she had to go home. So I'm just finishing it off today. So I'm going to share with you what we did, and it might be just something you want to do too. So let's go down to my desktop and see what it's all about. As you have likely noticed, I am having a ball with the Adorning Hearts hybrid embossing folder. So that is the one that's found on page 18 in the catalog, this one right here. And I have more samples than I know what to do with. But this was left over. Remember, we die cut and embossed these hearts, and we had this left over. So my granddaughter and I, we got to playing a little bit, and we brought some backing off of the designer paper. So I always keep these backings because they're just a nice weight. And we cut that down to 6 by 6 like that. And we ran one through with this big one so that it would match this. And I have to admit, we were in a hurry and I didn't even try to make sure everything was centered, but it worked out okay. So we ran one through like that, and then we have one for the base. I'll turn that over. So when we glued them to, we glued this then onto the one that we had run through, and then glued it onto here. And what we ended up with, so this is as far as we got when we were together, we ended up with a base here. You can see a little bit of that there. And then a little indentation. So there's a good sized lip because we put an extra layer of this, I don't know, the backing there anyway. So then we had it this far, and I said, what colors do you want your hearts to be? We need 2 colors. So she went looking and she chose Fresh Freesia, and she chose Pool Party. So I obviously need to have her in charge of choosing my colors more often. And so then we got to thinking, and that's when she went home. So after she left, I thought, well, what are we going to do the tic-tac-toe pieces? Because if we just do it flat, they're going to be really hard to pick up. So what I did is I went and I grabbed my foam adhesive sheets. I keep them in a container. So these are adhesive sheets. They are, can't remember the measurements. They are about 4 1/4 by 4 1/2. And what I did is I took some cardstock and cut this down and fastened it to the cardstock. So it's double-sided, just like our dimensionals. It is a little thicker. So when you peel this back, it's sticky. And I stuck it to this cardstock here and left the other backing on, of course, and I made sure that it didn't go over the edges. I trimmed it. I did use some scraps there, and I ran it through and it cut it out beautifully. So I have that. So what I ended up with was a plain heart attached to the foam. So just like that. Then I ran another piece of cardstock through and did the embossing, did it with the folder and the die. So those of you who didn't catch Monday night, this is like the deluxe kind of thing. Well, let me bring this whole thing in because there's a lot more here than just that big die. So this comes together. This is an embossing folder, a 3D embossing folder. It's gorgeous. This is a set of dies, and there are, let me just double check, there are 14 dies in here. And these are amazing dies. So you can use them separately, or you can take this big one and open up your embossing folder, and the side that has the logo, just place that in and slide it till it sort of just falls into the grooves, and it won't slide now. Do that. Put your cardstock on it. Where did I put some cardstock? Here we go. Close it up, run it through, and it embosses and cuts and everything all at once. So we did that with the, where did I put it? With the other. And so we have two-sided game pieces that are have the foam adhesive here. So the foam adhesive is a bit thicker than our dimensionals. Just enough to make a difference. And I don't know, can you see there? There's our dimensionals, there's the foam adhesive. So it adds just a little bit of extra. And if you wanted more, you could do 2 layers. But that's how that came out. So that's the pool party. And then they fit down in those grooves, just like that. And they're fit in pretty good. So you can either have patterned pieces or you can have plain pieces. So after doing that, I thought, well, I should maybe show you people what I'm doing here. So I now have, this is when I decided to share with you. So I stuck some adhesive and cut out the plain ones like this. So I have these like that. And then I also have these embossed pieces with no foam. So what I did was I peeled off, whoops, I guess that had some sticky on it. I peeled off the backing, took the embossed one, decided what side I wanted up, because the embossed and debossed are both really pretty. For me, I line it up with my fingers here, just like that, and push it down, and then we have some fresh freesia pieces, just like that. So let's do again. This is where I was using up some scraps here, so that's why it looks a little funny. And we'll just, for me, it works if I put my thumb there as a guide, like that. Now you see how it's maybe not quite matched up properly? Bring in an emery board of some sort and just kind of file the part that's sticking out, and it'll smooth that edge. In fact, it gives it a nice effect, and you might want to do that anyway. But I know this is going to get manhandled pretty well because it's for kids, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now, if you were giving it to someone special or an adult or something, you might want to change it up a bit and do that, because it does give it a nice finished effect. So there we go. So that's how quickly it comes together. So what I did again was I took this piece that I had left over. I cut the same out of this thin cardboard, which is actually the back of what your designer paper comes in, and then I glued the two together. And how I did that is I just ran glue here like this and glued it down, and then I glued it onto a backing. So there are 2 layers here. One is solid, one would have been die cut out, and then this is on top. And that just makes it thick enough to hold the pieces. And there you have it. That's how I turned this scrap leftover piece into a tic-tac-toe piece. And I had mentioned that I had it in my head, but I wasn't sure how to make it happen. So trust my granddaughter to take me on to the next step. So because so often the ideas from my head don't get put into practice, I guess we could say. But trying to keep her busy, and that's how it happened. So who's ready for a game of tic-tac-toe? Let's move this out, and there we go. And I think the fresh freesia won this time. So if you have any questions, feel free to whip off a question to me. Remember, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, this is my website, and this is the hostess code right now. Or if you use this link, you will access the hostess code, or you can contact me. I'm all, no sound for you, Karen. Well, that's weird. I think I'm doing everything the way. How about everybody else? So there's a few others on. Is there sound for you? I'm hoping so. So if you're watching on YouTube, remember to click that subscribe button or even that little bell so you're notified when I have a new one going live. And hopefully this helps you think of even a new way to use your scrap pieces. Take care, everybody, and have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.